Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the NACTA webinar series. Today, our special guest is the infamous Tia Fro. She is the tourism sales manager for Visit Anchorage. And for any of you that are going to go to the NACTA conference, which is September 13th to 19th, and it is going to be hosted at Captain Cook's Hotel, everybody's going to get a personal face-to-face with Tia because she is the end-all, be-all, everything from Visit Anchorage. And since they're the main focus of our conference, I know all of you are going to get to know her really well. Many of you who came to the Florida conference last year saw her on stage. She did an amazing job, and we're just really, really fortunate to have her here to train you on Anchorage Wild Expert. You're going to be doing Training 1 Explorer. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lorene Romero. Most of you do, some of you do not, so I wanted to introduce myself. A little bit of housekeeping before I turn the reins over to Tia. This is being recorded. I have already hit the record button. We will put it up on the NACTA YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. There's also going to be an email sent out to you with information from Tia, and we've already prearranged that. And because it's being recorded, if you weren't able to listen to the entire recording, I encourage you to finish listening to it so that way you can be fully trained to be an awe expert. So for now, I am putting myself on mute because all of you are on mute so that we don't have any background sounds. Tia, I am going to turn the reins over and let everybody know that after the Q&A session, we are going to have a little bit of a gift for one lucky person who answers a question correctly. So that means everybody needs to stay on for the entire webinar. Or you're going to miss out. So, Tia, I'm going to put myself on mute, turn it over for you, and thank you again, everybody, for your patience. We're running a couple minutes late. We're having a bit of technical difficulty in the background, but we got it off with a roll. All right, Tia, here you go, putting myself on mute.
Thank you, Lorene, and hello, everyone on the other side of the phone call. Hello from beautiful, sunny Anchorage. We are looking forward to everyone joining us in September and showing you my hometown. So again, my name is Tia Fraley. I'm a tourism sales manager here at Visit Anchorage. I have lived here my entire life, so I love to share my home. I started off working for my mom who was a travel agent herself, and have worked my way through working with Holland America Gray Line, Alyeska Resort, and then now with Visit Anchorage. So let's begin and become wild about Anchorage. First off, when you talk about Alaska in comparison to what we call the lower 48, where you guys live, we are 1/5 the size. So it's very important to let your clients know that it's going to take some time to travel throughout our state. The best way to talk about Alaska is to break it into the 5 different regions. So the tan area there at the bottom, that's South Central Alaska. That's where I live in Anchorage. Anchorage is the largest city in Alaska. We have about 300,000 people that live here. And if you look at this entire state, we only have about 700,000 total. I know if you compare that to where Lorene lives in California, there's 38 million people that live in California. So quite a bit of difference when you look at the regions of Alaska. Also to point out, the purple area, the Inside Passage, that's what you're probably most familiar with because that's where our cruises go. So we call that either Inside Passage or Southeast, and also Juneau, where our capital is. And then up in the green is Interior. That is Denali National Park and Fairbanks. Those are the 3 regions that most visitors will come to visit. Those that are coming back for a second time, they usually maybe explore up to the far north, which is amazing. That's where Alaska natives live, or the polar bears. So we have some new polar bear expeditions going on up by the Barrow area. And then also we have day trips to Nome, and they're leaving from Anchorage daily with Explorer Tours, which is also very exciting. And then when you get into that orange area, that is southwest, and that is where a lot of our fresh fish comes from. A lot of you probably have watched The Deadliest Catch. That's in Dutch Harbor, which is the little tip in the black there, and that's where crabbing and salmon and halibut all comes from. So again, we touched on the southeast or inside passage. So again, that's in the purple, the different routes. The biggest thing that we find, and I'm sure you guys get the questions, is the difference between the Alaska cruises. Right now, I know there are some amazing deals on some Alaska cruises. Some will be just called the inside passage, which you stay from Seattle, you go up to Skagway, and then you go back to Seattle. Or there's the come across the Gulf of Alaska, which you'll start in Vancouver and then actually come over into Whittier and Seward and then up into Anchorage. They're both 7 days, but they're different routing, and whether you actually come into South Central or whether you stay in the Southeast. A lot of people that do just the Southeast, they realize that they've only seen 4% of our state, and that's good for you guys because they're going to say, I want to go back to Alaska because for one, that cruise was amazing, and for two, there's so much more to see. So that is a good return for you guys, for your clients. How about that temperature? Do you get asked if Alaska is cold and dark all the time? Well, we're not, especially in South Central Alaska, because we are more of a maritime climate. We're surrounded by 6 mountain ranges, and we're right on the ocean. So you can see these are just the average temperatures that we get. Right now in May, it says 56 degrees. I think today we're topping out at, I think I heard about 65. So not a bad day here on May 11th. And then again, the daylight. Are we cold and dark? Well, December is our darkest month, but we still have 5.5 hours. And as we talked about that far region, the far north, they're the ones that will not see the sun for 82 days, which is absolutely amazing to me. But if you look at the far north and where Anchorage is, it's like going from Minnesota down to Texas. So there is a lot of land mass here. So we still get 5.5 hours, but then what's so beautiful about Alaska is the midnight sun. You'll see in June, we'll get 19.5, but that does not consider our twilight, our civil twilight too. So you add 2 hours to that. So we're about 22 hours of daylight. So I hope you guys can come experience we call it our daylight playlight. And in September, we're still going to be right about 13 to 14 hours of sunlight. So we'll get plenty of that for the NACTA conference. There is that beautiful city I live in. That is a shot of downtown Anchorage. So you can see the mountain ranges. That's the Chugach Mountain Range behind us. And then the Cook Inlet right in front of us by the water in the beautiful downtown Anchorage. And if you are coming for the conference, towards the left, you'll see kind of the gold building. That is the Hotel Captain Cook, where the conference is going to be, which is a beautiful hotel here in downtown Anchorage. Another great thing about summer in Alaska is our flowers. We're known as the City of Flowers. We plant over 80,000 plants just in and around the downtown area because, again, with all that daylight, they bloomed into these amazing flowers that just brighten up our city. And this is in Town Square, which is right in downtown on 6th and E Street. Visit Anchorage is big about our visitor information centers. This is our log cabin, which is the most famous one of all the 5 that we have. We also have them out at the airport and over in both of our convention centers. But this cute little log cabin is located on the corner of 4th and E. Our corporate office where I'm sitting is right next to it. But this is a great place to come meet retired school teachers, retired people in the tourism industry, or those college students that are studying tourism. They all come and work here, some for just the summer and some year round, and they have information, whether all the different shuttles that we offer, what kind of weather to expect. They always track the northern lights and the ratings. And the best thing is my mom works there. So if you're ever in Anchorage, go say hi to Corrine. She is retired from the tourism industry and she works here part-time and loves it. Right next to our log cabin, I mentioned, is a kind of a little transportation of shuttles, and there's a posted shuttle schedule right next to it, or you can ask our log cabin. And this is the Anchorage Trolley. This is actually one of the tours that also departs from here, and it leaves every half hour on the hour starting at 9. This is a locally owned and operated by Cyrus, who is, we call him the king of the corner, who stands out every single day from May through September to get his trolley tours off, and he offers the 1-hour city tours, a great way to kind of get a feel for our city and a little bit of history. Also, the different shuttles that leave from here are trips out to the Alaska Zoo, Alaska Native Heritage Center, the Ulu Factory, and our museum. Jody, who used to work with us, started her own business called Alaska Photo Treks. Photography is a big thing right now, and Alaska is a great place to come experience that. This is called the Blue Light. They like to chase the blue light and do sunset safaris in the evening from 8 to 12. And then she also does the Aurora Hunter. So Northern Lights happen year-round here. We just need it to be dark enough to be able to see them. So the best time to see them usually is August through March. But you can start seeing them in about August 20th. So in September, when you come for the NACTA conference, there is a good chance that we can see these beautiful lights. Also, if we have any beer drinkers out there, craft beer is a growing industry here in Alaska. A lot of them are made with Alaska Glacier ice and have some fun names. This is at the Midnight Sun Brewing Company. We're out with Big Swig Tours. This is a couple of our group members that are there. And it starts in the afternoon right next to our log cabin. Again, it departs there. It departs at 2:45 and it goes until about 6:30. And you visit 3 different breweries. You get to meet those that brew the beer, you get to taste them, you get appetizers, and then you get a little history here from Brian, who is the owner. So some of the fun names here is I'm holding a sockeye red beer. I'm the one in the gray sweatshirt. Jara has a snowshoe white. And then we have Tanya and Jack in the photo as well. Also, during the summertime, we have what's called the Anchorage Fair, the Anchorage Market and Festival, which is located on 3rd and E, which is across from the Hilton Hotel in downtown Anchorage. This happens every Saturday and Sunday, along with the cruise schedule. So it starts, the first cruise ship coming into Anchorage this weekend, and that means that the festival kicks off. This is also where we park for visiting Anchorage, so we got our little notice that says, don't forget, the fair starts this weekend. But we have over 300 vendors that display here. So anywhere from salmon quesadillas to fun Alaska socks and souvenirs to some amazing ivory and arts and crafts, because a lot of our Alaska natives come here, like Ursula, and sell their wares that they've made all winter, since we are the largest city. So when you're here shopping, you look for 2 symbols. You can see those on the slide. One is called Made in Alaska, and that means it has been made here in Alaska with raw materials that are found here. But the silver hand is actually from an Alaska Native artist. So that's the 2 different symbols to know if you're buying truly Alaska gifts. We mentioned that Southwest, we get a lot of our salmon and halibut and this crab that you're seeing here, but also you can get that, you can go fishing right in downtown Anchorage to get that as well. So a lot of fresh seafood, if you have any seafood lovers out there listening, absolutely amazing here. One of my favorites is king crab legs, and it'll still be fresh in September. If you do have clients that are going to spend a night or a week here in Anchorage, we have a great sales kit that includes like our visitor guide, but also our restaurant guide. So this tells you some of our favorite local places, and it has different events as well. So if you are having an Alaska night or you do have a client that is coming into Anchorage, we'd be happy to mail this piece to you to give to them. And again, since we're talking about fish and food, this is a shot of Ship Creek. So again, I mentioned a lot of our seafood comes from the Southwest, but you can fish right here in downtown Anchorage and catch your own. So we have about 15,000 salmon that run through Ship Creek. So it just depends on what month you're here, what is coming through, whether it's going to be a silver salmon or king salmon, a red or a pink. So a great place to come fishing. You can come bait a line here in downtown Anchorage. So getting a view here, you can see Ship Creek, and then you see downtown Anchorage again in the background. And don't worry, you can tell your clients if they did not bring their fishing gear, they can stop at the bait shack, which is right next to Ship Creek, and they can get their lures. They can tell you what bait to use based on what fish is going through the creek. You can also get your waders, fishing line, and they'll actually help you send your fish home as well. So you are all set to, as we call, wet a line here in downtown Anchorage. Also, you want to probably get to know the culture here in Alaska. So this is a shot of our Anchorage, inside our Anchorage Museum, which is, again, located downtown Anchorage on 6th and C Street. This is in the Smithsonian Arctic Studies Gallery, which is absolutely amazing. And another thing that's going to be opening just in time for NACTA is this huge 25,000 square foot expansion to our Anchorage Museum. So it is growing, it is absolutely amazing, and highly recommended for everyone to come learn about Alaska. But if you'd like to meet an Alaska Native, I would highly recommend the Alaska Native Heritage Center. This is a place, here's a map of it that you can see. You can learn and actually meet Alaska Natives. So you walk around the lake, there's 6 different village sites. They have Alaska Natives that are from those different villages inside those sites, so you can talk to them about how they live, how they hunt, what they use the animal fur for, because they really are about the land, and in each region hunts for different animals, live in different housing, so it truly is amazing to meet them. I'm always astonished by some of the people I meet every time I go there. And then you have this beautiful gathering place, the building inside, and you can actually see them making their earrings, making their cuspics, which is the coats that they wear, or making even a dog sled. So, and you can actually go dog sledding here with one of the Iditarod mushers. It's a quick little 10-minute trip, but well worth it if you want to go on a dog sled ride. It will be on wheels, but it's still a great experience. Or you can hold a puppy, which is also another cute picture for a Facebook profile picture. How about the trails from downtown Anchorage? So we are a very hip and urban downtown, but we also have all this wilderness that surrounds us, which makes our trail system truly amazing. So some of the trails from downtown, this is the one that you see the arrow is our Tony Knowles Coastal Trail. You can see this couple walking it. It's a great trail that goes along Anchorage. It leaves right from downtown and goes to Kincaid Park. One way is 11 miles. But you can see here, you could just go for a stroll after dinner. You have all that daylight, and you have the beautiful downtown Anchorage just behind you. Another great thing about these trails is looking for one of these guys. We do have 1,500 moose that live in and around the Anchorage area, and they love to hang out on our trails just as much as we do. So we have lots of etiquette signs. Most of the time they don't want to bother you. You don't bother them. The only thing you want to watch out for is when these little ones are around, just like any protective mom, we guard our babies. So that's the only time you just need to give them a little extra space. But again, right in downtown Anchorage, we see these guys everywhere. And most of the babies are born in May, like the later part of May, early June. And then if you want to get off a paved trail, we have over 200 miles of wilderness trail in and around our area. The most popular hike is in the Chugach Range, which is on Flat Top. And we do have a shuttle that leaves from downtown. So anyone that wants to get out on a trail, they can leave from downtown. It takes about 10 minutes to get to this trail, and it's about 3 miles up to the top, but you can see the view. So if someone wants to stretch your legs and do a little bit more strenuous hike, I would highly recommend this for not only the views, it's so close, and they can say they hike to the Chugach mountain range. There is also a 1 mile hike that goes actually to a platform. So if they're not wanting quite that 3 mile hike, there is a milder one that gives you these great views. We're going to now head south a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the day trips you can take from Anchorage. Anchorage is a great hub for these day trips. We're going to talk about south, and then we're going to head north, and then we'll be done. So Once we talk about south, this is where our cruise ships come in. This is where the glaciers, this is where the cruise ships come in. So you'll see the one that's pointing to Seward, that is our biggest cruise ship port, but we also have Princess coming into Whittier, which is through Prince William Sound. And talking about glaciers, just within Anchorage, we have 60 glaciers within 50 miles of Anchorage, and that is some of the day trips that we're going to talk about hitting the Whittier and Seward. So, but 60 glaciers within 50 miles, and we have over 100,000 glaciers here in Alaska. So, beautiful ice to come and see, whether you want to hike on one or take a day boat cruise to see one. First stop on our way south is Bird Creek. So, any of those clients that want to get on a four-wheeler and go adventuring, this one is with Alaska ATV Adventures, and you go, it's about an hour and a half ride through the wilderness, again, through Chuyech State Park. You actually go looking for some bears in this area. You go see some waterfalls, looking for moose, and just get to drive your own four-wheeler. Gotta stop at Girdwood, Alaska, where Alyeska Resort is located. This amazing resort is our ski resort, but it's also very popular in the summer. So it's a great year-round location. You're seeing the aerial tram there that'll take you up to 2,300 feet onto the mountain, where Seven Glaciers, an amazing restaurant, is, or a great overview of Turnagain Arm. So a must-stop for most of your visitors, and this is probably our nicest hotel that we have in Alaska, between Alyeska Resort and the Hotel Captain Cook. Most cruise ships that if your clients do a motor coach transfer back into Anchorage, actually do stop here and take the aerial tram, because it truly is an amazing view of the Turnagain Arm, Seven Glaciers, and you're at a peak of Mount Alyeska. If you do have clients that are going to overnight at Alyeska Resort, they can actually do what I call a big wow of three. One is a helicopter tour that lands on a glacier, which is number 2. And then you can add number 3, which would be dog sledding. So you can actually dog sled on a glacier that is at elevation 3,000 feet up in the air with an Iditarod musher. This is one of our mushers that trains his dogs year-round to get ready for our Iditarod. I've mentioned the Iditarod a couple times during this, and if you don't know what it is our one big sport here in Alaska that always happens in March, and this year we had 74 mushers take part of that, and it goes from Anchorage all the way up to Nome, Alaska. So it's our last great race that we love, and again is our one professional sport. So if you'd like to meet one of these amazing mushers, this is one of the spots that you can do it. We have a couple other locations because these mushers are training their dogs year-round. So we have a lot of dog sled tours offered here in and around Anchorage as a day trip. But this one, again, is a big wow on Punch Bowl Glacier, because it is actually on a dog sled, where some of the other ones in and around Anchorage, because yes, that snow does melt, we are looking at our grass now, so they do put those on wheels. Another stop in Portage Valley as we head south. This is going to be about an hour drive of Anchorage, is the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. A great place to go see some of our big fuzzy animals, such as our bear walk. They're on the bear bridge here. You see the black bear on the one side, and then on the other side of this bridge is 3 grizzly bears. So a great way to go see the bears in a very comfortable way and get some amazing photos. You're also going to see some moose there. They have muskox. They have caribou. They have eagles. Anything that's here in Alaska, you'll find here, because this started with a family that took in injured and orphaned animals here in Alaska. So doing great things here. They're over at the drive-through park. Again, if you book a motor coach transfer for a lot of your cruise passengers, this is another stop, because it is a drive-through park and they can really get some great shots of some of our amazing animals here in Alaska. Let's just talk a little bit about Whittier and Seward because those are the ports. The great thing about Seward is that they're going through Kenai Fjords National Park. We have over 17 national and state parks in Alaska. So those that are wanting to check those off the list, Seward is a great place because it's one of those national parks. Or in Whittier, we have Prince William Sound. Prince William Sound is a glacier-fed sound, one of the largest in the U.S. There is a cruise you can actually take that's called 26 glacier cruises because you actually see 26 different glaciers on that one cruise for 5 hours. Here's a picture of the one in Prince William Sound. This is with the 26 Glacier Cruise I was just talking about. An amazing experience to actually get up close to a glacier, hear it calving, see the icebergs. They like to dig out these icebergs and make glacier margaritas out of them. Yum. But you also see the sea otters, sea lions, whales, and some of the different migratory birds too. So a great day trip, whether you go out of Whittier or Seward, I say is a must for most of your clients. Also, adventure, whether mild to wild, we say, is growing. And again, Alaska is a great place for that. So kayaking is huge. You can do that out of Whittier. We have a new member called Alaska Wild Guides that actually does it's more of a sailing / kayaking out of Prince William Sound. That looks absolutely amazing. I'm hoping to try that this week. And then also here in outside of Anchorage, head north, you go to Eklutna. There's great kayaking as well. So lots of ways to get fresh air and exercise here in Alaska. If you do have clients that like to fish, this is me. That's one of my favorite pastimes here in Alaska during the summer is the Kenai Peninsula. That is where we call that the Alaska Playland. So it is because it has Kenai River, which is probably one of the best rivers to go fishing on. This is a silver that I'm holding there. So if you do have clients that want to go fishing outside of downtown Anchorage on Ship Creek, Kenai Peninsula is a great place to go and catch silvers, halibut, rockfish, shrimping, and I think that was it. So great place to go fishing. Okay, let's head north. Thanks for hanging in there. We got about 10 more minutes and then we'll open up to some questions. So north of Anchorage, we're going to go as far as Talkeetna. Talkeetna is one of my favorite towns in Alaska. If anyone watched the show Northern Exposure, this is after Talkeetna. So we're going to travel north from Anchorage with some day tours there. First stop is the Mat-Su Valley is what we call it, which includes the town of Wasilla and Palmer. And this is where a lot of our vegetables are grown. A lot of people are surprised at some of the vegetables that we can grow, but again, with all that daylight we get, our vegetables grow huge. We don't grow a big variety of vegetables, but what we do grow, they become huge, and we have our Alaska State Fair that we usually have competitions for who can grow the biggest cabbage or the biggest pumpkin, or zucchinis. The zucchinis you'll see here are absolutely amazing. This is rhubarb that you're seeing in the picture, but there's another symbol that you're also seeing on the slide called Alaskan Grown. That is one of the stickers we put on so you know that it was locally grown here. New last year was farm tours. So we have daily departures right next to our log cabin that actually go to 3 different farms out in the Mat-Su Valley. So if you do have any clients that want to learn about the agriculture, it is a great tour that also gets a beautiful lunch that with all these freshly Alaskan grown vegetables. Again, we talked about dog sledding. A lot of our mushers do live north of Anchorage, either in Wasilla, Palmer, or Big Lake, or Willow. So again, lots of dog sledding options. And I was talking about the wheels. This is one of those sleds that have wheels on it. Also, the Iditarod Museum is located in Wasilla, which is another great place to go learn about our Iditarod, meet a musher, and they usually have little baby puppies there, which a husky puppy is probably, well, all puppies are cute, but Alaska puppies are adorable. Also, again, I mentioned there are 60 glaciers within 50 miles of Anchorage. This is another one of them. It is called the Matanuska Glacier, where you can actually park your car and within 20 minutes, you can be actually hiking on a glacier. You can either do this on your own, or we have Salmonberry Tours that offers this, or Mica Guides, where you can actually have a guide to take your clients into the Madanuska Glacier and actually go hike and climb into the caves, and it's spectacular photos. And again, that's only about an hour and a half north of Anchorage for your clients to experience this. And now we're in the beautiful town of Talkeetna. This is the Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge. And in the background, that is that beauty, that is Denali. It used to be called Mount McKinley, but it got changed last year and is now Mount Denali in the Alaska Range. So I always say this is probably the best view of Denali because you're far enough away from it that sometimes when you're in Denali National Park, you're just so close to it that you don't get the views that you do from Talkeetna. Talkeetna is about 2.5 hours north of Anchorage by driving. If you were to drive to Denali, it's like the halfway point. So a great place to stop and stay at this beautiful lodge. Also out of Talkeetna is some of the best flight seeing. To see Denali, K2 Aviations, they do a Denali flyer, so you get to go in and around and really close up to Denali. They also fly in all those that are going to go summit and all the climbers that go, so you can go see the base camp, and it truly is an experience you won't forget. And you have to talk about the Alaska Railroad. Alaska Railroad is an amazing way to see Alaska. It goes the same routes as our highways. So again, we only have 2 highways here in Alaska. We have one that goes south, which is the Seward Highway, and we have one that goes north, which is the Glen Highway. So 2 ways out of Anchorage, and the Alaska Railroad travels those same routes. So the first one you see is the Denali Star, the most popular one in the summertime. So it leaves every day from Anchorage, daily departures, and it makes all these different stops along the way, and it ends in Fairbanks. So there's always one that leaves Anchorage and one that leaves Fairbanks every day on the Denali Star train. And then you have one called the Coastal Classic, which leaves every day from Anchorage and heads towards Whittier and Seward. So you can do those day boat cruises and day adventures south. And then we have what's called the Glacier Discovery Train. So that's a little bit different. This one will actually go into Spencer Glacier. Spencer Glacier, they have some kayaking and rafting, which is spectacular. You get on this lake and you actually raft up to Spencer Glacier right next to it. And then if you want to take it to the next level, you can actually get off and hike on it. So amazing adventures there. And they're adding where clients can glamping back there, so which is another popular tour that we have people looking for too. So this access on the Glacier Discovery Train is only accessible by the Alaska Railroad, so very unique. And then the last one that they have is the Hurricane Turn. And then, of course, I want to say that we have an Aurora Winter Train because we are open year-round in Alaska. We're not just May through September. We are open year-round, and our train also runs year-round. A little less during the wintertime than they do on the summertime. Summer is daily departures. In the winter, it's more on the weekend or midweek. But again, amazing adventures to be had year-round here in Alaska. And with that, I want to say thank you and remind you that the NACTA conference is coming. It is here in Alaska. We are super excited. I know they've been updating the websites, and hopefully some of you got on some pre and post fams, but also the Sightseeing Day, which is September 16th, which is a Saturday. Please stay because all these tours we talked about today are going to be offered to you guys. So I was just talking with Dawn. They should be up, I'm hoping today or tomorrow, but we have day trips that are going to go up to Nome, up to Talkeetna. We're going to have some flight seeing around Denali, some helicopter, glacier landings, and all the amazing things we just talked about. So I can't wait to see you here in Alaska for the NACTA annual conference. And let's stay socialize. So make sure you like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, and on Instagram. It is the best way to keep in contact with our department here at Visit Anchorage. We are the tourism development department that is dedicated to help the travel trade sell Alaska. So the more you talk to us, the more we talk to you, the more you know what's going on in and around the Anchorage area that you can tell your clients about. Also on our website, theanchorage.net, there's a travel trade section that has sales materials, itineraries, photos, and training. So this is, like Lorraine said, you all have become Anchorage Wild experts, which is Explorer 1, but we also have 2 and 3 on our website. But I'd also rewatch 1 because I cannot show videos on a webinar, so there's some amazing videos that will take you through this program again on our website. So definitely worth seeing, definitely worth doing, and we'll get you certificates out that say you are an Anchorage Wild expert. So with that, I say thank you, and we will open this up to questions.
Perfect.
Back to you, Lorraine.
Perfect. Thank you, Tia. Great job as always. But technical difficulty at the beginning, despite that. So,
hey, technology.
Yeah, sometimes not wrapped up. Hey, at least the Wi-Fi's up. That's a good thing.
That's a good start. Yeah.
Also, I want to remind everybody that now that you are OSS certified, you will be able to put this onto your NACTA 1 sheet. So I know a lot of people are interested in having a little bit of uniqueness to your 1 sheet, and this is one of the things that I would highly recommend that you put on, because Alaska is such a destination for everybody right now on their bucket list. You're certified. I encourage you to get other certifications. So Tia, you said 1, 2, and 3. We haven't had 4 yet. Is that correct? Just 1, 2, and 3?
Correct. 4 actually should be coming out here in the next month. So we're super excited. And then we also are starting on a 5. So we're looking at one going to be on more of adventure travel here in Alaska. And the other one is kind of like how it looks. So it's going to be like, here's how it looks when your customers get off the train. Here's how it looks when they get off the cruise ship. So it really just kind of walks you, and you can actually share it with your clients of kind of, here's how it's going to look. And it's, I think, going to be helpful for both travel trade and their customers.
Oh, that'll be awesome. And just, as a selfish person who is coming to the Anchorage conference, it would be awesome if we could have maybe those 2 modules done by September. But I understand how progress is. It's very slow. But it would be really good. You have a captive audience of a whole bunch of people. You could have 4 and maybe module 5. Just
absolutely. That's our goal. That is definitely our goal.
Goal and reality. I mean, come on, it's already mid-May. When did that happen?
That's right. I know, exactly.
We did have a couple of questions that I wanted to put out there. What is the time of year that you said the weekend? Is it a weekend market or a Saturday only market?
Oh, good question. It is called our Anchorage Market and Festival, and it happens every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. starting this weekend. And then I think the last weekend is during the NACTA conference, so you'll be able to experience it as well.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Because yes, the 16th, which is the end date, but the date that has all the fun stuff, which to be determined, to be announced, is Saturday, the 16th. So that would be really amazing if people. And I've been there. It's really cool. You can get a whole bunch of stuff there that you would normally. There's even some, the full body fur coat things.
Oh, yes.
They have, yes.
Yes, even some of our furries actually do tours. So if you really want to learn about it, they do some pretty fascinating tours as well.
Excellent, excellent. And love the foodie local food packets. They will. What if an agent was to request a package from you of material? What would you send them? They would go to the travel trade page and request things. What would be in a package?
Correct. They actually can select what they would like. So it actually says, send me either a showcase kit that includes everything, or you can actually pick, I need some visitor guides, I need our restaurant guides, I need some downtown maps, I need some chapstick or, swag, for an Alaska night. And so we will send exactly what you request.
Excellent.
And it's all broken down on our website. And again, it's anchorage.net, and there's a tab that says travel trade.
Perfect. Which you really make clear for travel trade. It's not for your regular tourist. It's travel trade. That would be us. So thank you for making that shout out. It makes it much easier. I use it all the time for my clients. In fact, I have clients going up there in a couple of weeks, and I wrote a note to myself, get a new local guides because they're foodies. So if you're a foodie, you want to be in Anchorage.
And our new food guide just came out in April, so we're super excited about it. It's a brand new one.
And we'll make sure to get a couple of them. Perfect. Let's see. Next question. Where do we get the logo to download?
I will be emailing that to you. So you can use that logo anywhere you'd like, especially the NACTA one sheet that Lorraine pointed out. I love that idea. So I will email that to all of you.
Okay, perfect. Kenneth says, I was stationed at King Salmon in 1980 at the USAF facility. At that time, there was hunting and nature observation trips available to camp in the surrounding areas. Are these still available?
Oh, wow, that is fantastic. There are a few hunting expeditions that are offered. It's very limited. We do have a ton of day trips that go actually out to do bear viewing. So if anyone is interested in bear viewing, we have definitely day trips. There are all day trips that go out to view the bears.
Perfect. All right. What other questions does it have? Oh, this was from me. It's not from the general public. It's because I'm going to the conference, and it had to do with the fact that you brought this up when you were talking. Wouldn't it be awesome to have the NACTA reception at the museum? Just saying.
Well, actually, that would be amazing. With the new expansion, because we did actually ask for that, but the new expansion is literally opening that day, like the 15th of September. So, yeah, they're a little busy with that 25,000 square feet expansion, and the opening day of that being on the 14th or 15th. So. We did ask, but we do have some tours that are going to go through there, so it'll still be amazing, and everyone can go visit it. In fact, the museum is going to give passes to everyone that attends the conference to make sure they get in and go view our museum.
Oh, and
we have some other amazing ideas coming through.
Ooh, I love this. I love
continued.
To be continued, exactly. And one of the things for if anybody is going to go to the museum, they have the Smithsonian area, which it just blows your mind away that they brought back some of the actual materials, the cultural, not equipment, but the clothing and some of the kayaks and the tools, and they're real. They brought them home, they're behind glass. And do they still have those iPad to touch devices that you can zoom? Yes.
Yes,
it's pretty
so if you
amazing.
see any of those articles, you can hit the iPad and it'll tell you exactly where it came from, how it was made. And like I said, our Alaska Natives, they do still hunt off the land, but it is to feed a village, and it is to heat a village, it is to dress a village. They use every part for clothing, for food, for fuel, and they're very appreciative in that whole circle of life. It is truly amazing to learn about it.
Wow. It's very cool. And on a side note, if you haven't gone to their guest food area, the grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup is amazing.
I agree. I agree with that. That's a muse.
Oh, What else can you tell us about the conference? Since we have a couple minutes left, and I know you are the go-to persons. In terms of knowledge, if just setting the bar right now for anybody who wants to know about the pre or post FAMs, do not bother the suppliers, do not bother Salmonberry Tours or Tia. You need to contact Dawn. Dawn is the go-to person for any FAMs. However, I know that Tia knows more about what's going on at the conference. Like do you know what night you're speaking? Because you're going to be one of the presenters, right?
Well, we have a couple different things that's in the works. So yes, pre and post FAMs all go through Dawn. I know most of them are full. I'm actually giving them 2 more again this week. So if you didn't get on a FAM, there's still more coming. And then the big announcement, like I mentioned earlier, is the sightseeing day that's going to be on Saturday. There really is some amazing tours that our members are offering. So please make sure to stay. They're either going to be half day or full days, depending on what you're looking for. So please make sure to stay for the 16th. And then we are doing another lunch panel. We did a lunch panel in Florida. So we're putting another one of those Alaska lunch panels together. We had so much fun and got great reviews from you guys that we're going to do that again. And then we have also we're taking you guys off site and doing a big Alaska lunch somewhere too. So we're working with one of our restaurants that we're going to pretty much take that over and show you our Alaska hospitality. So completely looking forward to spoiling you guys, getting you out there, experiencing Alaska since you're here, and then having some really great sessions and being able to meet all our members so you guys can sell them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know you're very involved with the Alaska Railways, and a bunch of other suppliers are doing some very fun stuff. And this is a perfect way for you to get the bucket list items. I know that when I talk to suppliers, because Tia, as you know, I'm one who does the webinars, and I mention where the conference is going to be this year, and they're like, oh my God, the suppliers are like, that's on my bucket list. I'm going to make sure to be the person to go. So
absolutely. Everyone's welcome to come do that bucket list check off. But the best thing is that when they come to do they think it's a one-time shot at Alaska. They realize, you know what? There's so much to see and do that I'm going to come back. So, which we're loving.
Exactly. And there's so many areas for people to explore, whether it's Palmer or Homer or, exactly. Denali, you got to spend a night or 2 up there. I have clients all the time.
Yes, 1 minimum, 2 to 3 is the best if you really want to explore that area. So,
right. And I love the screenshot that you had about the state of Alaska on top of the lower 48, because it really puts the perspective for people about, so you think you're going to be able to go from Anchorage to Denali and then down to your cruise ship in 1 day. That's not going to happen. So.
Exactly. And we're actually going to that's going to be part of one of our lunch topics, is kind of the logistics, because again, we only have the 2 highways and they go around glaciers and lakes and mountains. So they're not those straight highways. So when people go, hey, can my clients go from Denali to Seward to catch the cruise ship in 1 day? They can, but do you want them in a car all day missing all these other opportunities that they can do?
Right. Right. And I know they're always happy to work with agents about pre or post cruise opportunities for clients. You guys don't always have to book your clients' pre and post nights through the cruise line. Get them out around, not with 60 people who they'll be on a cruise ship with the entire time. Give them a little bit of anonymity and options. They do rent cars up there, so people can do some independent things. They have some amazing bed and breakfasts up there, different lodges, different things to do that you don't have to do the cookie cutter, and get out there, and you can just stay in Anchorage. It's a very walkable town.
Yes, and to add to that too, I love it. I like exactly what you're saying is, and then reach out to someone, myself or someone in TDS, because we live here. We can help you put that together. You don't need to spend hours trying to go, oh, who offers this or what B&B should I work with. If they want to be more independent, we have some amazing independent members. So let us help get you in connection with them. We're your matchmaker for those that Lorene were just talking about. So they don't have to stay on just all the cruise tours. I know they make it easy, but there's some other great places that your clients can experience.
Right. And adding to that, kind of what Tia was saying, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to piecemeal everything together, like rent a car and get this hotel and get this excursion, and they will help you with it. She's got a great team of people she's working with. I know that was it only one that you had at our San Francisco luncheon? Valentine's Day of all days to have our lunch and learn, but it's very popular. We had somebody from Dee Dee O'Brien came from Denali.
Grand Denali, yep.
and
you had Tony from Salmonberry and Marcia from our office. Yep.
That's right. And they're all passionate about what they can do to help bring tourism to Anchorage and the state. So don't miss that opportunity. And guess what? It's all commissionable. Hello.
Yes.
We do this for a living.
Exactly. And we realize that. So we only put you in connection with those that offer commission. So.
Okay. Perfect. Anything else before we do our question, ma'am?
Me?
Yes. Was there anything else you want to add? We do have that question. I don't want to say goodbye and forget it and go, oh man, I forgot to say we have a question for you to ask and for them to answer to see if they can get some nice little prize.
Yes, we have a beautiful Visit Anchorage Chico bag, so you can take that and use it when you're up here or when you go grocery shopping, or it always is interesting when you don't live in Alaska and you wear something that says Alaska or Anchorage on it, people want to ask you questions. So it's, you can just go to the grocery store with it and people might ask you about Alaska and you can tell them you can sell it. So let's send one of you lucky winners a Chico bag. And do you want me to ask a question, or would you like to ask?
Yeah, why don't you ask a question? And the premise is Tia is going to ask a question. I need the first person to answer this correctly to put it in the question box, and then that way I can give your information to Tia, and she will send it out to you. And the bag that she's giving is very cool. I have to tell you, because I always have to step in. I was at a Windsor Chamber of Commerce luncheon. Last year, I had one of those. I put some Alaska packets in there, some information. I even put one of the little moose in there. And
Seymour.
Good old Seymour, and a couple of the brochures. And the person who won it said, oh my God, I've been wanting to go to Alaska, and it helped me with the bookings. So there you go.
Love it.
All right, so the question, ma'am, and we'll look for the answer.
Here we go. I mentioned this a couple times in the webinar, and here it goes. How many glaciers are within 50 miles of Anchorage?
All right, there you go. Give it a couple more seconds. Excellent. The first person to answer this is somebody who I believe is going to go to the conference. Her name's Ellen McDaniel. She is from Southern California. Yay, Ellen. And I will, we got a couple people who answered 5. No. Answered 100. Good try, but not. So the correct answer is 60. So we had a long range between 5 and 100. So, yay, Ellen!
Congratulations, Ellen. Yes.
Yes, she was also the person who happened to have been asking about where to get the logo. So, see, everything comes full circle.
Gold star.
There you go. There you go. I will email you and Ellen together so that way you can connect on that and get it shipped out to her. And I want to thank everybody for participating today. Like I said, I will put this up on the website. Thank you again, Tia. Looking forward to seeing you in September.
Oh, definitely. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Lorene.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And for those who are moms, happy Mother's Day, and be nice to one another. It's a beautiful world out there. Go and enjoy it, and sell Anchorage and Alaska. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.